Hi, this is Mary Kay. Today we are painting the Moulton Barn on Mormon Row in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. This is the picture off the internet that I've picked. This is a stock photo. I'm going to use this one, but first I want to show you a painting that I did of this barn in 1993. Here it is. I painted this plein air looking at the barn. I was in a watercolor workshop with Evelyn Wright, and this was my painting in 1993 when I was first starting with her. So here we are today. The thing about this barn is that the wood goes up and down in different directions, and the way that we're going to do that is by using a sharp instrument, a knife, or a sharpened bamboo somehow. So the first thing I did was I traced this barn out and put a few of the mountains in with water-soluble tracing paper. And I'm going to start with the barn and then do the mountains and then the foreground. So for the barn, let's start with this roof. Now, they do fix this barn because otherwise if it fell down, it's really a tourist destination. You're not allowed to paint this barn anymore. So actually, we weren't allowed to paint it when I painted it, but Evelyn didn't know that because they had just made the rule that year. So you can't actually go to Mormon Row and paint this barn anymore. This is kind of dark with whites because the snow is on that. It's a very light snow. So I'm going to start with burnt sienna. So I wet that very lightly. Here's some burnt sienna. There's a little bit of French ultramarine blue in it. And I'm just going to try to what I'm doing is I'm painting it. I actually have like a little bit of French ultramarine blue. That's why it made those lines. I'm just going to paint in the direction of that roof. And then down here, I'll go this way. I'm gonna just lift a little bit here and just keep this rooftop simple. Now I'm going to go into the redder part of the barn. That's going to be more pure burnt sienna because it's really, you can even put a little bit of permanent rose into that if you want to get it even redder. So I'm just going to start here. This might bleed because that's still a little bit damp. It did bleed a little. There's a little like thing that leans out up here. Okay, so that's the first little spot. I'm going to use this knife. I'm going to make little scratches into this wet paint. There we go. I just made all the boards. I'm going to take a smaller brush and go into a little bit of sepia. That's neutral tint. I don't know what that is. I'm going to make a little sepia with burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue. I'm just going to tap it up here so that this will blend and be shadowy. And then right above here is a little darker also. Put that in underneath the roof. And maybe over here, there's a little bit too. Okay. And then I just have to pick my next spot. What do I want to go to next? I don't know. Over here, I guess. And there's a window. So the window basically is black. You don't want this this can be pretty straight at the bottom because the snow is lying against it. So the window, you do want to leave white, a little white in the window. So you don't want to cover that up, and it's going to be black with some highlights. It's like a highlight in an eye. Okay, let's just do this one. And we'll just do it piece by piece because I want you to see how this knife works. Okay, so here's the window. And then the boards up here go up and down. And this is in the shadow, so we'll put more color in this after we get this. And then the board, then there's this is the door, I think. And then in between here and here, it's sideways. So this is what's beautiful about this barn, is that the way they put the boards in all the directions. And it's obvious that I'm not getting these lines all perfect. I'm not using a ruler on any of this. I'm just drawing, just putting it in. These are sideways here. Okay. And now I'm going to go back over that so you can really see those. And it's just this beautiful red color. There's the window, leave that. I have to have the little light areas in the window. And then I can go in with that sepia that I made. And I go underneath. So we're just gonna build this barn wall by wall. That could be even a little darker. Oops, that wasn't what I wanted to do. There we go. That's some good dark there. So it's a shadow right here underneath that eave. So this looks like this was taken in September or October. You cannot get to this barn in the middle of winter. Okay, so now I have that dark window. I'm going to go ahead and get that really dark and make sure I leave some whites in the window. Although this does go across up here. Oh, it got bigger and bent. That's okay. Then there's just a little bit of a shadow on this side of this and this, and some over this. I'll just use the side of my brush to get that. Down here a little bit. Okay, one wall at a time. There we go. So it's bending now, actually, like that. Okay. Back to my clean burnt sienna. Maybe a little bit of pink in it. So it's nice and red. And we're going to do this front part here. There's a little bit. Leave your whites. If you see any whites, just kind of leave them. The windows have highlights in them. This is a little pinker. I'm not going to worry about it. This is going to take a while to paint, I think. Okay, so there's a little piece of wood that goes down that one. Here's this side. Okay. The front. There can be some bushes in front, so it doesn't have to be perfectly flat at the base of this, but the snow is kind of making it even. Okay, so we have the windows go across. There's like a little square here with the board in the middle. Same thing. This is the door, and the door has, I don't know if it has a window up there or not, but there's certainly some highlights. Doesn't really matter, just the don't have to have it perfect, because if you make it perfect, you have done $500,000 of renovations on this barn, and you want it to look old. So there's those boards that go across above the windows and the door, and then all this goes down. How about the door? What does the door do? The door has two across, and I don't know what that is. It looks like they go across the door. Okay, we'll go up and down the door and leave that sort of windowy thing there. Okay, now I'm going to go in with some darks, because there's some darks up at the top, up here. I'm just using the belly of this little bitty brush just sideways so that I'm kind of catching the paint. It's dark right in there underneath whatever that white highlight is. So I'm coming down on this. I'm going to put a little more burnt sienna on that because I want those lines to show, and it seemed kind of pink. I'm getting a feel of a wood. I mean, it feels like wood to me. Okay, so now there's like blue in these windows. I think it looks French, a little bit of French in this one. Maybe a little bit of cerulean over here. And some, I'm going to add burnt sienna into those so that they're blurry and it's not too exact. Maybe just blot it a little bit. And then over here, I don't know, it's also like that snow kind of just is on that. So I'll just put a few streaks down there. Okay, that one, there we got the front done. Now I'm going to go over here. Same thing, starting with the burnt sienna. Maybe I won't add as much pink this time. Just doing this all over here. There's some white right there. I don't know why. Just following the picture. Just doing it like it's a jigsaw puzzle. I'm just doing one piece at a time here. In the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna lift this up with a thirsty brush. So I wet my brush, then I dried it on my paper towel and should kind of lift up. Now I'm gonna go with my knife. And so here, coming across is a board, and then this way. These go across here. Angle the boards across, and this is across too, but it's like made out of different wood, and they're so. Then up here is up and down. And the little roof hangs out over the side. So I'm going to get my dark. I'm making my own sepia, which is French ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. And I'm going to add a little water to that because that was too intense. Just going to go out past because it hangs over. And this, I'm going to add, now I'm noticing there's a little bit more of a shadow right there, so I added it. And in here, there's some going down, some boards are light. They go this way. And this way, there's kind of a dark board there. It goes all the way down. I'm going to add a little bit more French ultramarine blue, or my original color to all this. This goes all the way down here. I lifted too far.
Hello, kitty. Oh, what are you doing, cat? You're making messes. Damn ya.
And that part looks pretty well done there. I think what these are boards that were put up and down. Okay, my last spot is over here. It's darker. I'm going to start with the sepia, my homemade sepia, and put this. Oh, I know what that color is now. It is the watermark of the source. So we can leave it. I kind of like it though, so might as well just leave it. Okay, making my this to get this perspective. This has an angle that I'm going to show you where my brush is right now. That is taller than this line here to make that look like it's going back. That's 1 point perspective. Okay, and then this has the lines in it. These look like they all go sideways. I'm going to go over that a little bit. So this is in the sun is coming up, or you know what, this has to be midday. I don't know why this is darker right here. I think this is actually the wood that's darker, not from the shadows, because the shadows from this perspective, we're looking west, and so the sun is from the south. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave that. I think that this roof needs some more marks on it. That's pretty light the way it started. I'm gonna do this, making my own sepia, burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue. And I'm touching my brush, so on my paper towel. So now I'm just gonna use the belly of the brush to just kind of make scratches coming down this roof. So I have to, it's at an angle, so my brush, I'm making these all follow the angle of this roof. And then down here, there is a little bit of snow. I might even add a little white paint later. That's not what I just put. Ah. All right. And okay, I'm going to call that good. So there is the Moulton Barn. The next thing I'm going to do is just do the sky, and I'm going to put some white clouds back here, and then I'll go in with some gray and paint the Tetons. So I think I'll use my 3/4 inch brush. I'm going to clean it out though because it has all that burnt sienna in it. And I want to put some blues. So the blues that I see in the sky are a little bit of cerulean, and then really just some grays over here. Honestly, those are really just sort of grays, which is French. Or let's see, let's try, you know what, maybe there's Antwerp there. Let's try Antwerp. Yeah, I like that. Okay. And then we'll make French ultramarine blue with a little bit of burnt sienna in it. So this is the same colors as the sepia, except I'm having much more French in it. So you can see it's just a blue-gray with that. I'm going to wet my sky here all the way down to my mountains. Some of them are hidden in the clouds. This here is the blue part. It's not really the Tetons, it's the foothills of the Tetons. Okay, so my paper is, my sky is wet. I went around the Grand Teton, which is this mountain right here. And I'm just going to start with this Antwerp right in here, maybe a little bit more. So I want that little pretty bright blue, just a, you know, a little bit of it peeking out at me. And then the rest of this is this gray. It's just cloudy. Up here is gray. Amazing what you can get with just such few colors. The beauty of all this. And then there's these clouds that are behind, right in here. They're very bright. You can just make those gray, or you can make them a little lighter. You can use paper towel to sort of lift them like that. There's my sky. I'm going to go straight into my Grand Tetons now, especially why it might be a little bit damp, so I can get the little bit of the clouds over the Tetons. I think that color of the burnt sienna, the French ultramarine blue and the burnt sienna, I'm going to just add the tiniest bit of permanent rose to that to get just a tiny bit of violet into it. And I'm just going to put, this is very pale paint, but you can see when it goes on the paper that it looks pretty dark. And now I'm just going to paint with water. Just go in there and smooth that out. Just let the watermarks form, and you can get the shape of it, because it really is, if you live there, you know the shape of that mountain really well. And this is where this just goes into the cloud here. And then a little bit more over here. Here we go. So more of this. I'm going across now. I forget the name of this one. I used to know all the names of these peaks because I've gone there several times and painted them. And over here, back in here. What happened here? There's a white spot right there behind my Grand Teton. I want to get rid of that. Oh, this is going to be hard. Because it's, oh, I can't do it. Let's see my one. Ay, ay, ay. This is why you can't touch your skies. Ah. I just broke my cardinal rule myself. you saw it. Oh well. Okay, and then I'm gonna put some here. Wish I'd have made that just a little more violet-y. I might still do it. I still might just go in and put a little more violet in. So I muffed it up already once. I might as well muff it up again. Okay. Maybe it was a watermark that went up there. I don't know. Okay. This one gets lost in the clouds. This one here. This one here. This gets lost in the clouds. There's one over here. If I have that purpley color on this side of the barn, I need it to be on this side of the barn too. So just that color's there, it needs to be here, and it needs to be here. And then that makes the barn in front of these mountains. Otherwise your eye gets mixed up. Okay. Now, I'm going to stop with that. I'm going to work on this part now. And that looks like, kind of looks like Antwerp, it kind of looks like French, it kind of looks like cerulean. Let's see if I mix all those together, what I get. I'm just going to put the tiniest bit of burnt sienna into that and see what I get. All right, I'm going with this. So, it goes down to right here. Ski slopes. I think the ski area is right here. Now I'm going to paint with water. There's some brown trees right in here. I think if I just, let's see, let me try this. And if it works, you can do it. If it doesn't work, don't do it. I'm taking burnt sienna and I'm going to let it just kind of charge into this. Maybe I'll blot it a little bit. Nope. And then I'll go over here. I'm going to do this blue here. Same blue that's over here. I need it on both sides of the barn. I think there's another ski resort right here. And then this beautiful blue goes right down to the river at the base of this. I'm going to paint with water now. Leave some white areas. I'm not going to put any trees there. Now the foreground. Well, there's a little bit of raw sienna right there, so let's start with that. I don't have any raw sienna in this painting yet, so I need to put a little bit in. I'm going to put some into these trees. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put a little bit in my building, because if I have it, I just, if I have raw sienna in the front of the painting, I need to have some of it in the back too. So it needs to be all through it. Right here's raw sienna. And then right where the base of the mountains hits, there's a little darker line, so that's the sepia. This is there's a riverbank in there. I'll put some trunks up to those trees. Okay, now the foreground. So this is a light snow on top of the grass. This is like late September. So what I'm gonna do is take this raw sienna, and this was kind of, I picked this picture of all the ones that I could have picked off the internet. I picked this one because it reminds me of the day I was out there painting it. So this is raw sienna. I'm just painting dry on dry. And there's a little creek that goes through there. I'm gonna add some burnt sienna to that raw sienna now. And now I'm gonna try to paint some snow. And the way that I paint snow is to use those colors that I just already made with a clean brush and put those blues into the whites. So we paint snow by painting blue. It's like the way you paint a white dog. You paint it with blue paint. The shadows on white is blue. I love this little, oh, I wish I had left more of that snow going up to here. Because that gives a little path up to the cabin. Over here, there's going to be a little bit of blue. This. Okay. I'm going to try to make a little more sepia. And kind of put it into these paints and see if I can make it look like it's sort of old grass. I feel like it needs to be sort of grass at the bottom of this. This is like the first snow of the year. It doesn't last long, that first snow. Okay, I want to sign my name. I think I'm going to do it right in here. So I'm going to wet this again and put the purple on it. The purple is French ultramarine blue and permanent rose, and just darken this area here. And I can do it here and here and bring a little more of that in. And I'll take my bamboo signer. I could use my knife. And I go up a good ½ inch, and I'm just gonna write my name like it's, I think I painted into yellow last time because my bamboo started off kind of yellow when it started making my name. Mary K.S. Jolly. Let's see. I feel like, I was gonna put some trunks up to those trees, but now I'm wondering if I should just leave it like that because it's blurry. I feel like if I put the trunks up, my eye is gonna go there and not to the barn. I can put a couple in and see how they look, and then you can decide if you want to do it. I don't like those. Yeah, we'll just let's do it like that. I think that's enough. That's enough to say late fall. Okay, I could do more, but I think I'd be smarter to just leave it at this point. I always like to say that your painting's done when your next brush stroke makes it worse. And then I'm scared my next brush stroke is going to make this painting worse. So I think I should quit. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for going to Jackson Hole with me.